Hello, episode 4. As if reading her mind, Adam stood up from the table, rinsed his mug, dried it, and put it back in the cupboard. He then switched the percolator off and turned to Rachel. She was already drying her mug. Well, it seems clear to me that we have our starting point. We'll start at the soup kitchen, Adam said brightly, trying to cheer her up. Let's go find out what they know. With his last words, he turned around and headed for the front door, Ashley's daily planner clutched in his hand. Rachel grabbed her handbag and keys and followed him. She made sure that the door was locked behind her. By the way, Adam said in a friendly voice as he waited for her to close the door of the car, I think that we can safely assume that we are going to be in each other's company for a while. Let's move to the first name basis. What do you say? Rachel? Adam looked at her expectantly. She smiled shyly and nodded her head. Okay, Adam, you're right. He smiled back, but said nothing more. He started the big black Mercedes, and they pulled away from the pavement. He made a U-turn and headed back to town. The soup kitchen was situated in central town. Tuesday afternoon. Consciousness dawned on Ashley for the second time. This time, however, it happened quietly. The silence around her was deafening. She slowly started to recover from her sedated state. She lay quietly, with her eyes closed, waiting for her thoughts to completely clear. She could still feel the restraints, but the pressure around her head was gone. The memory of the agonizing screaming and the injection that she, Ashley, received suddenly rushed into her mind. Now what was that all about? That woman, whoever she was, had been tormented by excruciating pain, measured by the level of terror in her screams that had wakened Ashley the first time around. Ashley wondered where the woman was and if she was safe. She pondered on it for a moment, then mentally filed the unanswered questions into her to-know file in her mind and turned her thoughts to her own situation. She would later ask some authoritative figure of this facility who the woman was and what happened to her. Right then, she had to concentrate on herself. First of all, where was she? Considering the smell in the air, she must be in one or other medical facility. Why was she there? Why was she sedated, and for how long? And why was she, Ashley, in restraints? Where was Rachel? And was Rachel all right? Another thing, what was wrong with her short-term memory? She remembered leaving Rachel's apartment after the barbecue, and the next incident she remembered was the screaming voice. What happened between the two episodes? There was a big empty void in her memory regarding her movements between the two incidents. What happened to her time? Something else also bothered her. She kept hearing whispers in her head. Blurry, but it was there. She didn't understand what was happening at first, and then a thought hit her smack on the spot between her light green eyes. Oh no! She suddenly knew what was going on. She had probably gone without the medication for more than 48 hours. The path of her psychic ability progressively clearing up, and she was picking up somebody else's thoughts. It must be that. What else could it be? Reaching that conclusion, Another unpleasant thought came to her mind. If Rachel were part of her current circumstances, Rachel would have made sure that Ashley received the medication even if she was in a sedated state. Rachel knew how important the timely medication was. Momentarily, panic fluttered at the pit of her stomach. Taking into consideration the new discovered information, there could only be one conclusion. She, Ashley, was in deep trouble, and she was alone. Rachel might not even know her, Ashley's whereabouts. And if Rachel didn't know where she was, then neither would the rest of her, the world know of her. Ashley's predicament. That brought Ashley to another important question. How did she get there? Involuntary worry started to move in her mind. No! She mentally stopped the two emotions in their tracks. She won't allow the panic or the worry to get the upper hand. That would be disastrous for her. She must think the situation logically through. Logic was the only way to get her out of this sticky situation. Okay, she was on her own, but she was no little Evaness now. She could take care of herself, but she must first gather as much information as she could, and then she could decide on a plan of action. That was to say, if she could get the chance to ask somebody for the answers she desperately needed. All she could do now was to wait and see where the circumstances were leading. Episode 4.